And what we're going to discuss is some of the highlights around live streaming, how to activate successful programs, why live can be an important part of a marketing strategy, what are the challenges that exist, and some case study highlights that goes over some best practices and key points in activating a live content video strategy. So why live video? Why we think it's interesting? Well, now that the video ad marketplace has become increasingly cluttered, captivating audience attention is getting more and more difficult. So we're looking to live streaming as a new format, considering audiences are more distracted than ever. They are installing ad blockers up to the tune of 20% of the audiences. They exhibit ad avoidance behaviors. 80% of viewers claim to skip or mute ads. In addition to that, 40% of millennials are becoming cord cutters. So live video represents an interesting opportunity to cut through that clutter and captivate audience attention. Additionally, we've seen massive engagement of the live video format. Facebook has reported that viewers are watching live video content to the tune of 3 times longer than pre-recorded content. Yahoo reported that 30% of viewers that watch live content recall the content 30% greater than pre-recorded content. And we're also seeing that it's really a great way to connect and deepen the loyalty and strengthen the value of a customer base based on the fact that you can have a two-way communication. So now you can bring audiences to be participants within the content versus being passive viewers. They can interact with comments and feel more engaged and part of the content and part of your brand. But there's a lot of challenges that exist. How do you get a massive amount of people to be in one place at one time? If you take this for an example, we have all these people at this one place at this time, but how do we drive 10x engagement by leveraging live streaming across the web? Hopefully we'd have a more interesting speaker than me on stage, but it's an opportunity to drive massive global audience attention, but it's very difficult to do that instantaneously. The other challenge is that you're dealing with audiences that are fragmented, not only across screens, but now across social viewing platforms. And that brings across even greater challenges in reaching them, but also in actually measuring the success and performance of a live stream. So what are some of the solutions in being able to execute effectively? We can look at just from a case study at a program that we ran, we can look at some of the key highlights of how this was activated and best practices and some of the key highlights and results and the learnings we were able to get. So for this initiative, our objective was to drive viewership of a brand-sponsored live event among females 25 to 54. The content was a female entrepreneur summit that was airing on a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And some of the tactics that we deployed were pre-event amplification, pre-event promotion, live amplification, and rebroadcasting of the content to maybe underexposed segments of the audience that we missed, and then to retarget engaged viewers of that stream with more lower funnel messaging, say, hey, you watched our content, now click to purchase. So what we did and how it works, the first step was we authenticated with all the brands and publishers involved in this event, all their social channels and all their affiliated channels across all social viewing platforms. Once we did that, we were able to stream directly to our servers and simultaneously broadcast across each of these channels. So essentially, you've curated a customized broadcast network across all these social viewing platforms. Then we took that stream and we amplified distribution and extended the reach of that audience across multiple web and mobile-based channels, in addition to social influencer channels. So now you have paid distribution across social influencer channels, extending the reach of the live stream as it's happening into other social channels. Then you're taking that and you're plugging it into paid video distribution through native video advertising, in addition to in-stream video advertising, where you're taking live content in real time and plugging it in through those distribution channels. And pulling it all together, we'll look at some of the results, but what we're really looking to measure how to effectively measure this live stream is to then pull in all the results across all the social channels, all the paid media outlets, all the web distribution as it's happening, and look at audience attention and look at audience engagement. Audience attention we'll define as looking at who is most engaged with this content. Was it effective in engaging a target demographic, target audience? And then where were they most engaged? In addition to the actual engagement of the stream, so how many concurrent viewers were we able to gather during peak times? What's the VCR and CTR of those live ads, and how effective were they in reaching an audience, including viewability? And then also looking holistically at brand sentiment, since live video really fits in that intersection of social media and paid media. We can then measure, how effective the live program was in, lifting a audience perception of a brand positively. So what we found if we did an A/B test looking at the actual stream without being supported through promotion, and then looking at the stream being supported through promotion, we were able to lift viewership by 10x. And this is by bringing the content to the viewer rather than just relying on the viewer being able to, find the content. Right now I probably have 8 push notifications on my phone about a live stream. So let's find the viewers where they are when they're engaged with content, reading articles. And then if you look at it from just a pure video advertising perspective, we found that live video really exceeds industry standards because it creates urgency and creates a lot of engagement. It's something new, something people haven't seen before. We were able to we saw that on average we're lifting engagement rates by 30%. We are lifting response rates by 6x. And then looking at pre versus post, we were able to lift positive brand sentiment by about 3x. And that's consistent with what we've seen across a lot of the programs that we've been running. And then how about the audience who's watching? So for this particular program, we found that females 25 to 54 were the target audience. They were most engaged with this content. They primarily tuned in from New York City and LA. The event was actually broadcasting from LA. They typically on average earn over $50K a year. They maintain managerial jobs, and they are the ones likely to make the business-related purchase decisions. So from an audience perspective, we got the results that we thought we would get based off of the content of the stream and the targeted media. So holistically, we found that live content is a great way to engage viewers and lift positive brand sentiment, while if you focus on the core metrics being concurrent viewers, audience awareness, and audience engagement. Thank you.